and welcome back to the channel, folks. This is another episode of the Total Movie Recall podcast. I am joined by my fellow members of the pod. Badger, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, jiggy baby. Just been working on my writing, and just reviewed Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Just posted on YouTube. All you guys, give it a watch, give me a like, and support, man. Yeah, all gravy, baby. Thank you very much.
Nice, cool, man. Early plug-in. Love it, love it. Paul, how are you doing, baby?
I'm very well. I have also just watched Axel Foley, enjoyed the hell out of it. I have not done a review on it because I don't do YouTube anymore. I just skimp off everyone else's channels. I have watched Badger's review, though. Go watch his review on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I have not watched the new film yet. Beverly Hills Cop wasn't on Netflix when I tried to watch it this morning, folks. So I'm saving that one for a later date. I'm doing okay. This is my first week of unemployment. It's going terribly. I want to say for some reason downloaded Dark Souls 3 on Monday because all the Shadow of the Earth trees get me hyped up. So reinstalled that. Should have been looking for work Monday, Tuesday today, but I haven't done it.
Important announcement, folks. If you are out of employment, don't buy video games.
Yes, that is terrible advice. Terrible thing to do. Life's been wasted away. Been up to just staying awake till 4 o'clock in the morning with cans of Red Bull around me. It's just oh fucking hell, I'm not 16 anymore. Got to get this sorted out, my 30-year-old man. But anyway,
Ellis,
we're just
stand the hell up and show off that incredible shirt that I've only just noticed you're wearing.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I will do.
Yes. Oh my god, you even got the yellow bastard in it. Oh,
look at the back. Wait.
Yes.
Oh, Michael Clark Duncan. Now, yeah.
I should really know the what a theme that is as well. I should really know the shop where I got it from, and I could give him a plug, but I don't, unfortunately.
It's groovy as fuck, man. Love it. That's great.
Thank you. Do appreciate that. Anyway, guys, we're just doing news today. It's a news roundup. No tier list, unfortunately, this week, but we will be back with one, not next week, but the week after, I reckon. So a few news topics to go through. We've got some images that we need to have a look at. Superman, Gladiator 2. Avi Avad has come out and said there's a Metal Gear Solid film still in the works, so I just want to talk about that one quickly. We've got some comments off Andy Serkis regarding the Batman 2, and we've got some trailers to talk about. We've had quite a lot of trailers. Nosferatau, the Penguin, that had a new trailer that I want to get into, and also Hellboy, but we'll save our thoughts and opinions on that one for later on. Don't spoil it, Badger, for goodness sake. Don't spoil it.
How can you spoil that which is already rotten?
Oh, I've got so much to say in it, but we'll wait. We'll wait. Right, okay, guys. First topic of the day. So a couple of weeks ago, we had an image of Superman that was revealed. This is obviously coming from James Gunn, due to release 2025. There was this image, caused quite a lot of stir on the internet. Of course it would. It was the first image of Superman in the suit reveal. I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. Not going to lie, I was slightly worried, not to do with anything detailing the suit. It was more the expression on Superman's face was a bit like, oh my God, this guy looks tired and worn out already. I don't know whether this was what I wanted to see for my first image of what this new Superman is going to represent. That sort of expression that was on Superman's face in that photo was reminding me of Henry Cavill, and I thought we were sort of steering away from that sort of image. Anyway, there's been some set photos released, and they're obviously doing a lot of public filming and stuff like that. So like Joker that come out a few years ago, if you remember, there was so many set photos come out of that film beforehand on the subway and stuff like that. As long as it's major spoilers in these set photos and stuff. I'm normally okay to view them. And unfortunately for us three, we are in a space where we don't have a choice. We see these photos whether we like it or not, because
second we wake up.
they're in. The general public might not see these, but anyway. So I just want to throw it off to you first, Paul. Have you seen these set photos that have been flying about? I've got a little collection here that I've gathered up. I haven't, guys, if you want to go and see these photos, go and seek them out. They're very easy to find, but I haven't put everyone in the photos that I'm about to show, just because I'm trying to save a little bit of mystique if you haven't seen them. But yeah, Paul, what are your thoughts on these new photos for the new Superman film? Obviously, the behind the scenes photos. I'm just going to get these little pictures up here. Obviously, we've got our first look at Clark Kent and his broccoli haircut. I imagine most of the bloody lads that at your work, Paul, have a haircut similar
pretty
to
much,
the younger lads.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Got that moose in and all that, like, yeah.
Of course, yeah. But it's a different look for Clark Kent, and I'm sort of digging it. What would Clark Kent look like in 2024? Probably is this. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
And I don't know whether I'm going like off a cliff with this, right? But it's glasses that Clark Kent's wearing. They remind me of the same glasses as what Eggsy wore in Kingsman. You know, yeah. And obviously Matthew Vaughn was rumored for a very, very long time to be taking over the Superman franchise. He was attached to quite a while. It was very public that he had an idea for it. I wonder if there's any sort of like connection, like tip of the hat little bit to Matthew Vaughn. Maybe James Gunn's a fan, but yeah, we've obviously got a look at Lois as well here, and a few more shots of the suit and the emblems on the back of the cape, which I absolutely love. Gives me the same energy as, I know this is a weird one to go to, but Lois and Clark, the old show from the early 2000s. But Paul, what do you think of this new look? Obviously, we've got a new look at the suit here, a bit more detailed look at the suit, and obviously our first look at Clark Kent.
Yeah, well, first I'm going to say these are set photos, so all this can be cleaned up in post. Once you see it in movements and in the film and with color correction, all that stuff, which they will do. Because I have seen people go, the suit looks terrible. I'm like, I quite like the suit. It is very James Gunn-esque. And when I say that, I'm talking Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. He has gone for that, where it just feels like a suit. It's not like a painted on suit like it was for Henry Cavill. It feels like it's a suit. It feels like it's a costume that the character's wearing. Very reminiscent of what you said there. It's pulling threads from all iterations of Superman. Reeves, the Lois and Clark show, just the recent show we've had, Adventures of Superman.
Yeah,
different New 52, the Grant Morrison stuff. It's pulling bits and threads from all different iterations of Superman to make James Gunn's version of it. I'm digging it. It feels, from the set photos, it feels very comic booky. Doesn't feel like it's going to be like a grounded movie. It feels like it's going to be a James Gunn movie, and I dig that, because I don't think we've had that with Superman since the Christopher Reeves movies. I feel like it's going to be wearing them movies on its sleeve, in terms of just being colourful and very Superman-esque, if you like. I'm digging the set photos. Obviously, like you said, there's a few more reveals of the characters we've seen. Again, they just remind me that they look very like they've just been pulled out of Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of how James Gunn creates his characters and his costumes. I'm liking the new Lois Lane. I think she looks cool. There's some blonde bird with glasses who I've seen a photo of.
Oh, I can't remember her character's name.
She looks smoking hot, whoever that is. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm excited for it, man. There's been a few things. There's been a few shots where I could maybe start piecing little bits together, but I'm trying not to. You see, you just look at it for, right, forget it, don't think about it. We'll see it in the movie. But yeah, I'm liking the look of it. I'm excited. I'm still excited for this film. I trust James Gunn. He's proven that he can make excellent comic book movies more than once. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
These photos have got me way more excited than what that like sort of quote unquote official image gave me. Like, he looks happy here. He looks like hopeful almost. There is some pictures that you were alluding to there, Paul, that do show him doing the classic Superman shit that you want to see. I think it's really interesting that this film's got to strike a balance, right? So you've got something like Superman Returns, where it was too much going for the Christopher Reeve thing, but it was a little bit boring, if we're being totally honest. There was no big aliens or anything he was fighting there. It was more of a family struggle, sort of like realizing that he had a son and stuff like that and overcoming that aspect. Then you've got Man of Steel, which is the other extreme, where it's just mega battles, fighting, stuff like that. This film's got to strike a balance and fall somewhere in between of them two movies. But yeah, Badger, I know you haven't got loads to say on this one. Have you got anything to give us there? What, Clark Kent, new costume, Lois, anything? Is that a no? Is that a move on?
Do you like the costume, Badger?
I know, yeah.
The picture's right there. Do you like that Superman costume?
He could be naked. It wouldn't make a difference to me.
Fair.
Does the costume not? But like, if you say, I'm trying to think of a character that you really like. Imagine a new film for a character you come out and you really liked, and the costume looked nothing like what it looks like. Would you be pissed off with that, or?
I guess so. I guess so. I don't know. This to me looks like just Superman. You know, it's blue, it's red, it's he flies. I honestly have no thoughts. It just looks to me like the same as all the others, just minus a few little shades here and there. It makes no difference to me. But I just hope the film's good. Probably will be, by the way, because even though I'm not into any of this, sometimes Superman can work for me. Hopefully this film will be banging. Probably will be. So we'll see. But no thoughts on the costume.
I just want to add two little more tidbits here as well. Basically, there was some photos of like what the Daily Planet's going to look like. And there's like the Daily Planet logo and font is on the front of a building that you can see in one of the photos. I think it might actually be going for that Art Deco style that we've mentioned before. Yeah. I'd love to see that come back. I know it was heavily used in Superman Returns. And what was the other thing that I wanted to mention? Nah, it's lost me now. It's lost. Anyway, we'll move on from the Superman set photos. Obviously, we haven't seen Lex or anything, by the way, guys. That hasn't been revealed.
There has been a photo of him, but they've tried to cover him for the set photo, but you can see it's Nicholas Hoult. James Gunn actually tweeted saying, is there any spoilers in these photos? Somebody's asked, is there any spoilers? And he's put, do you think I would be filming outside any scenes that potentially could be spoiled? So,
yeah,
you know, we're seeing is, I think these are in Cleveland. I think they're filming in. So it's literally just characters on set. We don't really. There's a couple of shots they've released where you can maybe picture or piece together what could be happening to a degree. But I think, you know, when it comes to when it's the Superman stuff, we ain't going to see none of that, because that'll be all in like post production and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. And that was my second thought that I had. They're filming on location, which I love. They're like out and about in the streets and stuff like that. So that can only mean good news. I'm looking forward to this film. Looking forward to it. Budget of over 300 million, which I don't think people talk about enough. But hey ho. Right. Okay, guys. Next lot of images that I want to talk about here quickly. Right. We have not seen anything from Gladiator 2 whatsoever, basically. No trailer or anything like that. We just hear a lot of reports about the film, that it's way over budget, that, you know, it's going to be the most epic action film of all time with some of the scenes that they've filmed and whatnot. There's like lots of reporting going about, but we haven't seen any footage and we haven't seen any images. But Vanity Fair just released a set of images in the last week, and I've got to say, they're moving the needle for me. Paul, I'll go to you first for this one, mate. Gladiator 2. We were excited for Gladiator 2 to begin with, and what are your thoughts on it after seeing these images? You and Badger can actually speak to this more than what I can, because I think it's starring, is it Paul Mescal, who was in Aftersun? I have not seen Aftersun, but you two both have and both recommend it. So you can speak more on him being... Have you not seen it, Paul?
I
thought you'd seen it.
do not recommend Put Me to Sleep, that film. You messed it.
Oh, right, fair. All right.
I do know who that guy. I do know the guy, though.
But I haven't seen a dime of any Paul Mescal's work at all. I don't think I have anyway. But yeah, Paul, what are your thoughts on Gladiator 2? Were you excited for this one? And what are your thoughts after you've seen these new images from Vanity Fair?
Excitement isn't probably the word. Very intrigued is probably the word I'd look for, because Gladiator for me is it's one of my favorite films of all time. It's probably in like my top 50 films of all time, easy. I recently watched it like a year ago when it come out on 4K. Well, when I bought it on 4K, and it looked like it was filmed yesterday. It's like, how is this film 20 years old? It's crazy. But I feel like it is one of their films. It's one and done. Like, there does not need to be a second one whatsoever. It's a mass. It's like trying to do a Saving Private Ryan 2 or some shit. Like, you know, it's just like, why do you need to do a sequel to this incredible film? But Ridley Scott is doing it. Once I'd sort of learned it was a bit of a different time period, I was like, well, you could do the same story again, just with different characters, and you know what I mean. And I was like, let's just see what they can do. And then the cast coming out, I was like, now this cast is stacked, man. He has got some ballers in here. Yeah. And then we seen these set images. I was like, that's Gladiator right there. That's Ridley Scott. That's Gladiator. Like, you know what I mean? That looks like it could be deleted scene from his original movie. Like,
it does, yeah.
It looks exactly like the original movie, just from them set photos. It just even the color of it, the way it's shot, the costumes, the locations, it looks like they could have been in the original Gladiator. I'm now excited for this film. Now seeing these images, and I'm pretty sure a trailer's supposed to be coming maybe Friday. I think I've read.
It's got to be pretty soon.
Like we've done in the past, once the images come out, the trailer's never too far behind. I think once I've seen the trailer, I'll be able to go like, yeah, right now I'm really like looking forward to it. Or I'm like, nah. But the images themselves got me excited. Pedro Pascal looks badass in the images of him. There's one of him there, man. Look at that. That's a movie star right there, man. That dude's a movie star. Like, right. I've seen enough of him now. That guy's a bona fide movie star to me. I'll watch anything that dude's in at the moment. Looks cool. It looks like he fits the role right there. That image of Denzel that I put on my Instagram yesterday, he looks cool as hell, man. Denzel looks awesome. I reckon he's going to be class in it. I don't think they give much of a story synopsis, I don't think. And if they have, I haven't read it, so I apologize about that. But I'm excited for it. I'm ready for the trailer. I want to let's see what it looks like in in movement and whatnot. But the intrigue's still there. But I am now a lot more excited now. I've seen sort of what it's going to look like just from these pictures. They do excite me.
A film that we absolutely did not need, that no one was asking for, especially Russell Crowe, but a film that I will definitely be going to see after these images. These have just done the trick for me. Like, I've been so like up and down with a Gladiator 2 because I wouldn't call it one of my favorite films of all time, but it's definitely up there. It's just not one of my personal films of all time. It's one of my favorite Ridley Scott films all the time. And for whatever reason, when I was younger, I used to rewatch it quite a lot as well. But I haven't seen it in a while. I could definitely upgrade this one to 4K. But yeah, Paul, you're totally right. These images are totally selling it for. Like, this image, especially when I saw this of Pedro Pascal, it was just like, oh, this guy has got the goods, man. And the other image I just want to highlight as well that I put on the thumbnail, this one. This just, gives me total Gladiator vibes. Like, I have no idea what the story is about or anything like that. I think they might be keeping it semi close to the chest.
Is this sorry to interrupt you? Is this guy the Gladiator in the film? Is he like the hero of the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Okay, right. So it's not Pedro.
No, I am assuming, and I might be off on this one. I'm assuming like Pedro looks like he might end up having a similar role to what like Joaquin had in the first one. Just his armor looks a bit more put together than what this armor looks like, and that's me just going diving into
Look at that picture, man.
It's phenomenal.
Awesome.
Like I don't know how you can look at that and be like, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. And I'll piggyback on what you said there as well, Paul. The color grading to these images look fantastic. They look finished. They look ready to go. And I can't imagine a trailer being that far behind. But yeah, got me excited. They've moved the needle, and I will definitely be going to see this. The only thing that puts a dampener on the entire thing, I think an integral part of Gladiator, Ridley Scott's Gladiator, is Hans Zimmer's music. I think it's almost iconic at this point. It does fall into that line of sounding a little bit like Pirates of the Caribbean, but that's a good bloody score as well, man. I just wish he was coming back for this film number 2, but he did come out and make some comments on it, just saying he would just simply be repeating his work.
What, Zimmer's not doing the score for this?
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah, that is a bit of a damper, man.
Yeah, so I actually don't know who is doing the score, but
it'll be Ludwig Göransson, let's be honest.
Well, maybe like I should have included it on this episode, but I think Ludwig might be busy the next year because it looks like they might have found a release date for Dune Messiah coming out same day as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Gloves are on, bloody hell. But one of them films.
I would be very interested to see who's scoring this, because that is Gladiator has got a very iconic score because of Hans Zimmer's work, and it needs that sort of epic flavor to this movie. That music heightens Ridley Scott's movie so much that they need someone who can do it justice for this. So I mean, I'm intrigued to see who they get for this then.
Yeah. Badger, Gladiator 2. Got any thoughts on this one? These images done anything for you?
I'm looking forward to the scene where Pedro Pascal gets killed with a golf club. That would be cool.
A golf club? Oh my god! I'm not even. Oh my god! Badger, I'm just not even elaborating on that.
Good. No, I'm not really looking forward to this. I don't really care. I was never a fan of the original. The only thing that I'm really happy about with this film is that either way it's a win-win for me, because it's given me incentive to rewatch the first one, which I haven't seen in about 15 odd years. Every time I tried it, I never liked it. So either way, I'm going to find out once and for all after 15 years if I like it or not. You know what I mean? Either way, it's a win-win. If I find out that I like it, holy moly, this is awesome. And if it turns out I don't like it, well, now I know forever. That's it, really. That's it. I don't have any thoughts on this, really. I guess I am a fan of After Sun, although it is freaking painfully slow at times. I think it is very impressive. That main actor, he seems versatile as hell with what he's doing here. So, I look forward to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because obviously, Paul Mescal just not on my radar at all. And to me, this is quite a, we're going to give this guy the lead role in Gladiator 2. And this, you got to remember, this is being pushed back a lot with, because obviously the writer's strike and whatnot. This was announced quite a long time ago, and Paul Mescal's been attached to it for a long time. So they must have seen something in him. But yeah, do you think he'll be good in a role like this, an action heavy lead role, period?
Totally.
Yeah,
cool. Totally.
Right, we'll leave Gladiator 2 there. I'm looking forward to it. All right, next one. Next one's a little bit of a cheeky one. It's a bit of a non-news thing, really, but the producer has come out and spoke on it. And I recently played some of the franchise of late, and I am talking about Metal Gear Solid. So this one's obviously going to be a Sony project. But Avi Avad, who is one of the producers, he produced a lot of the OG Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire, has been interviewed recently, and he shared some updates on it. I'll just get the screen up here, folks. Right. So, yeah, the oh, sorry, not that one. Right, yeah. So they were interviewing Avi Arad, and he come out and said, "We're working on the script some more, but I can't talk about it yet. I think everyone's going to be really excited and surprised. I think getting Metal Gear right will obviously be amazing because I think it's a lot more meditative than some of the other adaptations. Personally, I want it to be terrific." So yeah, not really much news here. I just want to get your thoughts and opinions on a Metal Gear Solid. I just want to add as well that yeah, Oscar Isaac was involved to play Solid Snake, but he is no longer attached to the project anymore. So we'll be looking for a new Solid Snake. Badger, I'll go to you first for this one, mate. Metal Gear Solid, are you a fan, and do you think this would be a pretty good game adaptation? Is this something we need?
Yes, it is. I've only played the first one once about 10 years ago. I thought it still surprisingly held up. No nostalgic bias with it whatsoever, and I thought it was very impressive. Out of all the games that you could be adapting, it should be this, absolutely. I am looking forward to it. I'm not an insane fan. I don't know too much about the lore, but put it this way, I was pretty pissed off when I found out Metal Gear Solid 3 was being remade, because they should just be doing the first one and then the second and the third. I really think they should do it that way.
Yeah.
I know that Metal Gear Solid 3 is a prequel, so maybe they're doing that and then one, and I don't know. We shall see. Either way, though, look, I think it's going to be awesome, and I especially think Andy should be here because this is like probably his favorite game. But yeah, this is going to be cool. I don't know who the hell you can get to play as Snake, though. I mean, back in the day, definitely Hugh Jackman, definitely. But I also think he should have been Joel from Last of Us. But there we go. But I don't know who could play as him now, though. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, man. Paul, what do you think about what's your history with Metal Gear Solid first? And who would you fan cast as Solid Snake? And is this something that we actually need? Like, do we need this franchise right now?
Well, the good news is, Badger, we don't need Andy because Paul's here. Because this is also one of my all-time favorite games, and I have a lot of nostalgia with Metal Gear Solid. I've been playing this since I was whatever year it come out. When did it come out? 99? How old was I then? 96? About 12, 13? Yeah, I've been playing. Yeah, I've played all these games. Absolutely adore Metal Gear Solid as a franchise. The idea of a movie's been being tossed around for a decade now, if not longer. Like they've been trying to make a Metal Gear Solid movie since way back when in the thousands. They was talking about it. Oscar Isaac being attached to it was probably the last sort of bit of news. That was pre-COVID. I think that news come out, and I think he even said in interviews he was attached to it. Ripe for a movie. You get the right director, the right budget. It's ripe for it. It's one of them games where you feel like you are playing an action movie. That's sort of what Hideo Kojima was going for. Like you are taking part in your own movie. That's what a lot of Hideo Kojima's games like that is, because he's such a movie advocate. He wants to reflect that in his video games. He wants to make them like interactive movies. That is exactly what Metal Gear Solid is. So to translate that onto the big screen would just work so well because the story is there so well. It's not as if they'd have to take a game and then adapt the story around it. It's right there on them discs for you to play and to absorb the story. I'd love to see this in live action. But like I said, I think you'd have to have the right director. I'm talking like a good director. I'm talking like a Nolan or a Spielberg or someone who can just shoot the shit and, make people go and watch it as well. Like, I think you'd have to have a big director because of the scope of the movie. It would have to be big budget, and I feel like you'd have to have the right director attached to get people to go and see it. I don't think you could just, like they did with Welcome to Raccoon City. They've got the IP, but you've got an unknown director there. And it was the wrong director for the job. You can't just slap a unknown director onto an IP and think he's going to shit out gold, because it ain't going to happen. That movie proved that.
I've got a pretty good idea of who could direct it. Well, Hideo Kojima also made Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
What director had a cameo in Death Stranding?
Oh, there's two. Where's three? Wasn't
Del Toro? Yeah, Del Toro would be awesome doing it. Yeah.
I mean, like, if he's already in cahoots with him, why not?
I mean, if the heavens would open, I would love Kojima himself, because obviously he's opened his own Kojima production studio for movies. He is adapting, he's making a Death Stranding movie, but because of the history that Kojima has with Konami, who he did the game with, I don't think that's going to happen. That would be the ideal scenario for it. But I'm excited for it, man. Yeah, I want to see it. Like, I want to see. I mean, begging for the first game to get remade. I mean, like Badger just said, they are remaking the third game. I feel like they're doing that first. I think because it's the most popular one in terms of sales. So I feel like that's why they've done that one first. But it does. If they do 3, because it's the prequel set before the first one, 3, 1, 2. However you do it, I want that first game remade in today's graphics, because it is a brilliant game. It does still hold up, but it is dated now. You know, it's a 20, 30-year-old game. So to see that in today's graphics would be just as good as getting a live action adaptation of it, in my eyes. But yeah, a Metal Gear Solid movie comes out, I'll be there day one, no sweat.
Tom Holland is Solid Snake. Woo!
No, I will not be there day one for Tom Holland as Solid Snake or Mark Wahlberg. Let's keep them away from it.
Mark Wahlberg as Psycho Mantis. That's the end of it.
Psycho Mantis is so good in that action.
You've got to get someone badass for Snake, though. He's got to be like out and out cool, man. Like, it's can we put Kurt Russell in a time machine? But I'm looking forward to this. I think the problem with Metal Gear Solid, right, is if this falls into the hands of the wrong director, this could be an absolute tragedy. And I'll actually go with the way of thinking. I think this, rather than putting it in the hands of a director like Chrissy Nolan or whatever, put it in the hands of a fan. Because I think the problem with this franchise is that an outsider could look into it and it just look like Mission Impossible, the action film, when it's really not that. It's a bit weirder than that. Do you know what I mean?
I will say, apparently the director of Welcome to Raccoon City was a massive fan of the games, and he had loads of interviews going, yeah, I played them all, I love them, and this is going to be as faithful as it can to the games. I was like, and then I watched it, I was like, did you play the games? Did you really?
Yeah, fair. There's some really good interviews, right, with, this is very random, but the director of Kong Skull Island, Jordan Voight Roberts. Search out some of the interviews that he was doing around that film, because they were asking him, what film would you want to do? Like, if you could do any film after Kong, what would it be? And he said Metal Gear Solid. It just seemed like he had a really, really good sort of like tapped into like the franchise as a whole. I've only completed Sons of Liberty. That's the only one I've started and finished. I've watched the run through of Metal Gear Solid 1, and it's just annoying just because I haven't got the stuff to play it. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only reason why I played Sons of Liberty last year is because Blue Point did a thing for PS3, did like a remaster of it, so I managed to play that. I wasn't a fan of Snake Eater. Loved the story of Snake Eater, but the actual gameplay of Snake Eater wasn't a fan. But anyway, I'd be really looking forward to this. It's one of them franchises, unfortunately, where they couldn't skimp on it either. They'd have to put some money into this one. So
I'm shocked we haven't seen it yet. I'm so surprised that you haven't got this off the ground. It took them this long to get off the ground.
I might be naive here, but I think just a lot of people won't get it. Like, I think once you actually go into it and realize that it has got some weirder elements tapped into it, do you know what I mean? Like for me personally, before I actually got into delving into the lore and stuff like that, and really focusing on who the characters and stuff were, from an outsider's point of view, this just looks like a semi-present day futuristic sort of just action. Like, I think there's a lot more going on with this franchise, especially politically as well.
It reminds me of Ghost in the Shell, Metal Gear Solid. Which,
all right,
as well, if I could have an adaptation of Metal Gear Solid, it would be an anime, because it's a Japanese it wears anime on its sleeve that all through the games, like just the over the top fighting and the samurais and the fight sequences and everything. It's Hideo Kojima's obviously gone anime very heavy with how he structured the cutscenes and stuff like that in the game. I forgot I was going with that then. Where was I going with that then? Oh, so it reminds me of Ghost in the Shell, where the first game, Metal Gear Solid, can on paper it's a terrorist attack. A guy goes in, stop the terrorists. But you said, there's loads of underlying layers about politics and cloning and all this stuff that you can really sink your teeth into. But I think out of all the games, the first one is the one where you could just make a nice structured action movie out of it, like a sci-fi action movie. Doesn't go too heavy. Not necessarily low budget, but not like once you go into the second game, that's when it starts getting really lore heavy, and you're like, what the fuck are these talking about in these cutscenes? Where you've got to like Metal Gear Solid explained on YouTube and all that. Whereas the first game's quite like just quite narrow, like quite not narrow. What's the word I'm looking
more
for?
Straightforward.
Just straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, and like that first one as well, it doesn't sort of like the futuristic vibes of it don't really come into play, I don't feel like, until we really get into Sons of Liberty, and that's when you really start. But saying that, then you've got like the Metal Gear at the end of it. Look, this is, and when I say low budget, Paul, I don't mean low budget, I just mean like how much they maybe spent on Dread. So, like Dread and like the Raid films, like where it's all set in one place, because that's basically Metal Gear Solid 1. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I'd love to see it one day. And yeah, man. Can we get them? What is it? Metal Gear Solid 4, them the Metal Gears that moo. They moo like cows, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what I mean about the weirdness. It's like just certain things
get weird.
that, like, would just go over people's head. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're not having the tanks moo. But yeah, man. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid. Love to see it. All right, next story. Don't panic, folks. Badger's only died. It's fine. Badger's not feeling too well, so he won't be here for the rest of the pod, folks. Anyway, next story coming up, Paul. We've got a bit of Marvel news. So, Marvel have announced they are coming to Comic-Con 2024. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because you never know with Marvel these days. You never know if they're, because obviously they've got their D23 thing that they do every year now, or they do it most years or every other year, if I'm not mistaken. But they've come out this year and said they're going to be revealing a few things at Marvel Comic-Con and based on the movies. So this isn't to do with like the shows and stuff like that. I think they're saving the show talk, Disney Plus, for D23.
Makes sense.
But yeah. Kevin Feige had been recently on a podcast. There's like a Marvel podcast. It's a new venture. Checked out a little bit of it, but I wasn't really feeling it. You can tell it's very like, if you're doing a podcast with Kevin Feige, they've got a list of bullet points that you cannot get out of. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about this, and don't ask me about anything to do with Blade or anything like that. Just talk about what's coming out. But anyway, he also confirmed something that we'd discussed before, Paul, about Fantastic Four being set in the 60s. We had an idea, we had an inkling, obviously, that poster come out. Very 60s orientated vibes, Fallout 4, whatnot. But also, there was an image come out later on of Johnny Storm. And what was interesting about this particular photo is, if you see in the bottom corner here, the city landscape, that doesn't look like our city landscape on present day or any sort of timeline, in fact. He'd come out and confirmed, though, that this is, in fact, set in the 60s, and it isn't the MCU timeline as we know it. So they're in a different universe. As far as this Fantastic Four news goes, I'm all about this. I think separating themselves as much as what they physically can without breaking the whole bloody story from current MCU is a really good idea when it comes to the Fantastic Four. Let's just get these right. Let's get the characters right. Let's make it interesting. Let's make, we're going to be seeing a whole new city here, which really excites me. It's obviously, I think, going to be like a New York futuristic sort of setting. But I'm really excited for this Fantastic Four film. I think it's quite poetic in a way that we've had so many Fantastic Four films and they've all been shit for the most part. The MCU have got the reins on it now, and they all seem like they're really cooking something special up here, definitely. And Ralph Ineson, who's playing Galactus in the film, come out recently and said, yeah, the script's looking fantastic, folks. Obviously,
no pun intended.
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even really did that there. But yeah, there was also we have got A Quiet Place Day One out in theaters at the moment. So we've obviously got, is it Joe Quill? Am I getting that right, Paul?
We'll go with that.
Yeah, Joe Quill. I'll go for that one for now.
Yeah, the guy out of Stranger Things.
The guy out of Strange Things. He's getting interviewed. Obviously, a lot of questions popping up.
Joseph Quinn. Is it?
Joseph Quinn. Yes, that sounds more right. Yeah, he's come out obviously getting questioned about Fantastic Four, as you would. Just says, it's in the bag. I'm practicing my flame on. We're gonna get it done, and I feel really confident that they are gonna get it done. But Paul, I'll pass it over to you, mate. What do you think about? We're definitely in the 60s for Fantastic Four, set in a different timeline, and Marvel are coming to Comic-Con this year. First, I'll get your thoughts on this new Fantastic Four news.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of have you seen the Marvels yet?
Yes.
So you know how it ends, the after credit scene where Monica Rambeau's in a different universe with the X-Men. I believe the Fantastic Four are going to be in that same universe.
In that one?
I think so, yeah. I think this is going to take... I think all going forward is going to take place in that new universe.
Oh.
Or at least Fantastic Four and X-Men. I think that's sort of the catalyst of how to make it work without you going, well, where the hell have these guys been for
Good point.
10 years? Maybe that's just pure speculation. That might not happen at all. But there's a reason they introduced the X-Men in that sort of alternate timeline where Monica Rambeau goes into that black or whatever you want to call it, the end of the Marvels, and obviously where she sees Beast and all that. So yeah, that's where I'm predicting the Fantastic Four is going to be in that universe as well, just for it to work. It's like you said, set in the 60s, but in sort of like a futuristic 60s sort of thing, sort of a bit like Fallout. That sort of it's going to have that sort of feel to it, that sort of retro futuristic
realism.
Which let's try that. I don't think they've tried that in any of the Marvel films. It fits the Fantastic Four to a degree because I feel like it's gonna have that sort of WandaVision flavor to it, where it's sort of like a family sitcom maybe vibes to a degree to it. It has that in the comics and in the earlier movies, that sort of just family vibe to it. I'm excited for it. Like I said, for me at the moment, it's Deadpool, Wolverine, Fantastic Four, X-Men. That's all my eyes are on. Anything else they've announced movie-wise, I don't think they have announced anything else, but that's all I'm looking forward to. Like, there's a few Disney Plus shows you've announced, like that Agatha thing that I couldn't care less about. But Fantastic Four, I've always been a fan of the characters. I actually enjoyed the first movie when I watched. I was a lot younger. It was early thousands, so I was only a young teenager when that came out. So that was all I had of Fantastic Four at the time. So at the time, I enjoyed it. But I've always been a fan of the characters. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with today's technology, with how they can make comic book movies now. I think it's going to be awesome. Then coming back to Comic-Con.
Yeah, what we're going to see?
That makes sense. That Marvel, they know that they're dipping at the moment. They know. Kevin Feige knows. He's not stupid. They're not stupid. They're multi-billion-dollar business people. They know when they're not making enough money. They know when they need to start making money again, that they want to make. So to go to the biggest comic convention on planet Earth, put your stamp back on it, like we are. Like Marvel Comics is the biggest comic company in the world. Up there with DC, they're the two big heavy hitters. To come back to Comic-Con 2024 and go, right, we're back. This is what we're bringing you. Makes sense. Like, get them in Hall H. Get them X-Men trailers, them Fantastic Four trailers. I'm presuming that's what they're going to show, the Fantastic Four trailer, or at least early footage of it, to get people hyped. And we'll hear of it in real time. It'll be all over the Twitter. People fucking going nuts in Hall H once to see it, all stuff like that. Get that hype back for fans. So yeah, they're gonna go. They're gonna put their stamp back on Comic-Con, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it'll be a double whammy. So I reckon, I honestly think they'll just show Deadpool and Wolverine in full.
You could get an X-Men cast announcement as well.
Mate, that is something that I'd love to see, but I honestly don't think we're done with the old Fox lot just yet. No. Which is fine. It's I'm just eager to get casted in here. I want to see who Cyclops is going to be, Wolverine, like all this new age. But yeah, man, just as far as Comic-Con goes, I think you're right. I think we might end up seeing, so similar to what Matt Reeves did for the Batman, where it was like a costume video test thing. Maybe as we get like a little clip of them, it'd be great if we could see like a real life shot of, the first poster that they released where they're in like that living room. If we could see them in that living room, just like a tiny little clip, just to get us a bit more jazzed for it. But yeah, you are right. I think this is Marvel saying, look, we know the last couple of years has been a bit rough. We know people are looking at us with one eye open at the moment, saying he's all right. He's got this in the bag. But I think they're coming back to Comic-Cons, like you said, to show that they are the boys still.
And I want to get excited again. I do. With Marvel at the moment, I think I've said this on a previous stream. I'm always going to check out Marvel product. I love Marvel comics. I love this shit. But it has the last couple of movies. I've just been going just because it is. I'm not going because of biting at the teeth to see the film. I'm going to watch it because it's a Marvel movie. I want to go back into a Marvel movie excited, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this day to end. I cannot wait for this week to end so I can go and watch this new film. I haven't had that for a very long time. I've not had that. I didn't even have that with Guardians 3. I think the last time I had that was Spider-Man Far From Home, No Way Home, whichever one it is.
No Way Home, yeah.
No Way Home, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll move on from that one. All right, Paul, next story that's going to lead into our trailers. All right, so it's been extremely almost non-existent news when it comes to the Batman 2. Very sad. It's obviously a film me and Paul are desperately, eagerly awaiting any sort of news from. But a little bit of hope the other day. Andy Serkis was getting interviewed, and it sounds like he has just been told that he's going to be starting filming the Batman Part 2 or Batman 2, whatever it is, early next year. We don't know exactly when, but according to Andy Serkis, it's early next year. I'll just read what he said. So basically, I know nothing about the movie other than that I've just found out that we're probably likely to start filming early next year. I know that Matt Reeves is working really hard on the script, Serkis continued. Matt Reeves, being Matt Reeves, the extraordinary filmmaker that he is, I can only assume that it's going to be another brilliant script, because I thought what we did on that first film was pretty amazing. I loved working with Robert Pattinson, and I really look forward to playing Alfred once more. So early next year, Paul, do we think this is legit? Do you reckon this is... Andy Serkis knows what he's talking about here. I'd love to think this is filming early next year, but it's been so quiet. It's been unbelievably quiet. Obviously, by the look of this, Andy Serkis hasn't seen a script. He just knows one's getting written. I'm just being a bit fanboy crying here. Just like, I want some solid news with this. And especially when we're getting all this news with like Superman, especially as well, like, which this film was like, I think announced before the Superman film, and all this energy and time and a lot of Warner Brothers money is going into this Superman film. I'm just hoping Warner Brothers behind closed doors is still passionate about the Batman with Robert Pattinson and want to see Matt Reeves' full vision. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I definitely think there was some conversation at some point with James Gunn and Matt Reeves about maybe bringing Robert Pattinson into the fold with David Corenswet. I know you're not keen on that idea, Paul, but I wasn't initially at first. It's the more I've seen of them both and stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't know whether this just makes sense to do. But anyway, the Batman Part 2 potentially filming early next year. Do you think this is actually going to happen?
So when's the release date? What's the estimated release date they've got at the moment?
2026 October.
And yeah, like Halloween 2026, what they said then. So start filming early next year. Sort of makes sense time-wise. That's when they want to get it out for, a year and a half to make the film.
Yeah.
Year and a half, year and 3/4. I do believe that the conversations were had. There's a reason this film was pushed back, and I think it's more political than...
I'm not insane for thinking that. Do you think there's an air of truth in like?
Yeah, I think they want to.
Because of that.
I think because of how popular the Batman was, they want to differentiate it, and they've come out and said it's not going to be part of the new DC, James Gunn DC. So I think they've wanted to give James Gunn the time to get his stuff out first to sort of not just muddle them together. Do you know what I mean? I think they want to have now then this. I think the Penguin TV show has played a bit of part. I feel like they wanted this Penguin TV show that's coming out. I think they want that to be the Batman 1.5.
Yeah.
And they've just come out and said Robert Pattinson as the Batman is going to... We're not talking about that later, are we?
We're talking about it. Right, we'll move on to it. We'll move on to it because I'm bringing that up next anyway. We'll just join these two stories together.
Okay, cool.
I had the Penguin teed up. We're not going to watch the trailer, folks, because it sends the pod into absolute despair. But we've both seen the trailer, Paul. Yeah. So the trailer for the Penguin's awesome. We'll talk that 2 seconds. But the story's come out just this past week that Robert Pattinson is going to be in the Penguin as the Batman. They've not just said as Bruce Wayne; they've said as the Batman. Which the last time we spoke about the Penguin, I said to you, if I was a betting man, I'd put money on the Batman is going to be in this film, whether it be a big part or a small cameo. I believed he was going to be in it at some point. There's no way you can have this TV show, and I know it's called The Penguin, but be attached to that movie and not have Batman in it to some degree. Even if it was just Bruce Wayne, I felt like he has to be in it at some point. Yeah. I believe that this TV show is going to bridge into the Batman 2. So I believe that however this show ends is going to give us a inkling or an idea of what the Batman 2 could potentially be about. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm just feeling like that's what they're doing because they keep saying it's from Matt Reeves, it's part of this universe. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if it's going to be the Batman, the Penguin, and then the Batman 2 be something completely different. I feel like it's going to be like intricate into where the story goes in for that second movie. So with that said, I still think we're going to get October 2026. And I think this TV show is going to be a nice sort of like appetizer for that. But we'll see. I think you're right. This is definitely, they're looking at this as like the Batman 1.5. And just to get into this trailer a little bit, like, I'm not going to lie, folks. We've seen quite a lot of this TV show. We saw a behind the scenes reel they did. And this was maybe 2 years ago at this point. I'm not joking. This was a long time ago. Then we got a teaser for it. Then we've just got this new trailer that's come out. And this new trailer I thought was unreal. Like, this is really the trailer that's got me excited about this show. Not that I wasn't excited before, but what they were showing us in the teaser and the little trailer that we had previous, it was moving the needle. It just wasn't moving it totally for me. This new trailer, whoo, my God, love it. Absolutely love it. And the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway from this trailer, apart from the character itself, my biggest love of Batman and Batman lore, movies, whatever, is a good looking, dark Gotham, right? Mm-hmm. It's my main thing. To me, Gotham City is as big as a character as any of the Rogues Gallery is or anything like that. I think you've got to put some effort into what your Gotham City looks like. And, the Batman already made Gotham look pretty tasty. It was a real step up from the Nolan trilogy in my eyes. Not as chaotic and as architecture madness as what the Burton films were and Schumacher films, but it was doing a good job at planting its own take on Gotham. And the shots of Gotham in this trailer, wow, mate! Because obviously we're in like a no man's land sort of situation here. So at the end of the Batman, obviously with the water breakage, half the city is covered in water at the moment, and you can see all that is went through into the Penguin show. What is Gotham going to look like once all that water's gone? Mate, it's going to be hell on earth. Do you know what I mean? So I just really hope that we can get a few more entries. I'd especially love another look at another Rogues Gallery villain. I think doing what they're doing here with the villains being on HBO is something. I love it. I love it. We can get like a deeper into the psychology of what these villains are. It was announced when they were announcing the Penguin show that they were going to do an Arkham show set in this Matt Reeves. Oh,
yeah,
mate.
they have said that. Yeah, happy all over that. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love it because obviously the little snippets of Arkham we've seen so far, like these people are troubled. Do you know what I mean? And it reminds me of Arkham Asylum, the games. Like it does give me that sort of that 100%. Vibe. Yeah, man. So look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this Penguin show. Like definitely, like I'm so glad that trailers like that came out because it's got me really excited now. And
mate, for me, man, it's everything I love about the Batman outside of the character of the Batman. It's that grounded mobster, that dark street level take. They're my favorite Batman stories. You know, we're talking year one stuff like that. They're always been my bread and butter Batman. So it's that dark, grounded mobster stuff. Mate, this looks like The Sopranos, Godfather with Batman over it. Like it looks incredible. You've got the the Falcones and the Maronis and all that in it. Colin Farrell looks on fire. It looks like he's having a great time in the role, like he was in the Batman. He's going to be able to spread his wings a bit more in this show. Give us a lot more of his take on Oswald Cobblepot. I think there's more to this than they're not showing us. I think that we are going to see more villains in it. I don't think it's going to be like throwing fucking Poison Ivy, Two-Face, all that. I think we'll get another villain in it that we're not being told about. I think there's going to be a few nice surprises in it. I'm just excited. Like I am excited for this show. I think it's going to absolutely bang.
I could see in the show them introducing another DA, but it not being Harvey Dent. So you know, in the Batman, the DA he died in that one. Mm-hmm. So I was like thinking in my head, the Batman 2, this is where we introduce Harvey Dent now. But having like you could tease it a little bit further, so you think, the new DA is going to be Harvey Dent. We're going to see what he looks like. It'd be someone else. Then that person die at the end of the Penguin, setting up for the Batman Part 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if Harvey Dent's not in this show. You know, I'd put money on it if I was a betting man. I'd throw a $5 down on it.
Do you not think we'd have heard of that by now, though, casting wise?
I think there's going to be a few things that hold to the chest with this. I think there's going to, like I said, it's just me speculating, and I'm not going to get myself that worked up where if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, oh, for God's sake. But I think there's going to be things in this that we aren't being told about. Like again, just because of the speculation that I feel like this is going to tee up the next movie. So I think they're going to leave us some breadcrumbs for what's going to go into the next movie. Even if it's like the last scene of the show and we see like Harvey Dent's door with his name on or something. I'm like, oh, imagine it just ended like that. Like just something.
Now that would be cool. I'd be down for that there. That'd be amazing.
Don't even have to see him, just see his name on like the DA door or something, like the frosted glass door of his name or something. Like
save my money.
Anything like that. Well, yeah, I'll be frothing at the mouth for. I'm so excited for this show. Like I think it's going to be really with Matt Reeves as well, man. Like I think the show is going to be special. I'll be shocked if I don't walk out this show and that's one of the best shows I've seen this year, if not the best show I've watched this year.
100%. And just to touch on on what you brought up about the Batman potentially showing up, I hope they don't do like the thing that I think they're going to do is, as in, like, say this is 8 episodes, then he turns up in the last 15 minutes of the 8 episodes. I think you'd be better off maybe saving that bit for a Batman like in costume. But I'd love to see just like a really casual, like, oh, holy shit, that's Bruce Wayne. Do you know what I mean? Just doing something in the public in a suit. I'd love to see that rather than the Batman in costume.
It's got to explain where he is, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's got to show. It's got to tell us if all this shit's going on in this show with the Penguin, all these crime bosses and these mobsters and that. It's got to show us where's the Batman.
Maybe there's a reason he's not around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that might be why he's in it. Or they might get rid of him somehow. I don't know. But we'll see when the show comes out, I guess.
No, mate. I think we're both looking forward to it. So
yeah.
We'll definitely cover that one on the channel. We'll probably just wait until the entire thing's released.
Yeah,
then we'll do a big old review on it. Because there'll be like you say, there'll be cameos, there'll be little Easter eggs and stuff. Like, we've got to be detectives when that show comes out. Right. Next trailer that we both caught was Robert Eggers' new trailer. Nosferatau. Right, mate. Did you have a chance to check this one out?
I have seen this trailer, yes.
Right. Should we go to you first thoughts on this one? First, I'll tell you what. I'll tee you up with this one. What are your thoughts on Robert Eggers, first off? So he's already got like 3 films in his filmography.
Yeah.
Filmography. Jesus Christ, Ellis, learn to speak. Only 3 films in the filmography. Nosferatu, what we saying about this trailer?
Well, first off, just in terms of my feelings on Robert Eggers himself, straight up love the dude. When I see him in it, he is a film fan. He's just one of them guys that just loves film, and you can tell when you listen to him in interviews. Just a down-to-earth director. But in terms of his filmography, really enjoyed The Witch. First, I had to watch it a couple of times to really get my head around it, but I really enjoyed that film. The Lighthouse wasn't too big on that film. It just didn't work for me. Understand why people like it. It was just too weird for me. I was like, I don't really not vibe it. The Northman was one of my favorite films that year come out. Absolutely loved that movie. That was I'm just a fan of that sort of like Gladiator, Vikings, all that sort of stuff. Just give me any. And he shot the shit out of that film, and I loved it. In terms of the Nosferatu trailer, he's the perfect man for the job. Just from that trailer alone, he's the perfect man for this job. Admittedly, I've never seen the original Nosferatu movie. Well aware of it, well aware of its impact, well aware of all the iconic shots of it. I've just never sat down and watched that movie start to finish for whatever reason. Just never ever got around to it. As much as I'm a fan of horror movies and vampire movies, but I'm well aware of its cultural impact, and I'm well aware that people are very skeptical about it being remade. But after seeing this trailer, man, whoa, it's going to be a nice Christmas present. This is going to be. It looks awesome. It looks. It just from how I've seen images of the original movie, it looks just like that. It looks time period accurate. The way the trailer was shot was a piece of art in itself. Great cast. The little glimpses of what we've seen of Nosferatu, it looks cool. The imagery in the trailer was amazing. The way it looked eerie and gothic. I'm excited for this. The Witch is a great horror film, and I think that's his strong point is horror. I think he just knows how to shoot horror. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I really enjoyed the trailer.
This couldn't be further up Robert Eggers' alley than this film. Like, it just looks amazing. Like, I love all these shots. Like, so
it's like just old London and stuff like
that. Yeah,
like,
it just
Jack
looks
the Ripper sort of stuff.
Yes, it looks authentic to the time period. Like, sorry to be a bit lame, guys, as well. I was under the impression, I thought this film was going to be in like total black and white sort of sepia tones.
Okay.
It is It isn't. There's obviously some shots in here that are definitely in color and stuff like that. I thought we were going for like a lighthouse sort of vibe, because obviously that original Nosferatu is all in sort of like a sepia tone. Like it's weird. I have not seen it, guys. I've only seen clips and stuff of it. But if there was ever a film to get remade, I'm sure it's like a 1930s silent horror film or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like it's ripe for getting made. But yeah, this trailer looks awesome. Like, I'm really wanting a film to come in and take the throne. So as far as these like period piece vampire movies go, for me, Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Coppola, that's the boy. That's at the top of the pile for me, as in period piece vampire movies go. Like, I know a lot of people would put like Interview with the Vampire, maybe he's on top of that list, but as far as like the effects, practical effects and stuff like that, it doesn't get any better than Bram Stoker's Dracula, in my opinion. Gary Oldman's performance as Dracula's awesome. Then you've got the other end of the scale where you've got Keanu Reeves putting in his worst performance ever. But anyway, this trailer looks awesome. The very, very brief sort of image that we get to see of Bill Skarsgård, he's got hair. I'm surprised he's got hair. I thought he was going to be like bald and gangly sort of type situation, but no. Yeah, man, this just looks awesome. I'm going to be here day one for it. I'm not sure whether it comes out on Christmas Day over here. I know that's definitely a thing for the US. I really don't want to be getting this in January or February. I could really
I think it'll be mid-December. I don't think it even says Christmas. I think it just says coming Christmas. So I think it'll be like mid-December time.
It's Christmas Day. It comes out, man.
Oh, right. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So hopefully that is the same for. I don't know. I'm going to convince Georgia to go and watch Nosferatu on Christmas Day. If that's legit.
I know we 100%. We won't get it Christmas Day. 100%. We probably might get it Boxing Day, if not a couple of days before.
That'd be nice.
A couple of days before Christmas.
But this is coming from Focus. I've got it in my head that this is like some A24 film. I need to get that out of my head. I think we'll just get this the same time as
this will be like worldwide release, I think. If not a couple of days earlier or later.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a smash hit, man. Like, you've just got to look at his past three films, right? The Witch was authentic to its time period, like almost to a fault, I want to say. Maybe I'm just not, intellectually there enough to understand old language of the 18th century and whatnot. But
the oldie English,
the old ye English, that's it. It's Val Fennison as well, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, the Lighthouse. I just love how fucking weird that film is, and Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. I imagine there was, like talks after some of the scenes in them films going, yeah, should we get a large whiskey and never talk about this ever again? Yeah. But then we've got The Northman, which I just thought was immaculate. Like, it just really showed you what Robert Eggers can do with a lot of money, because originally that film was going to be produced by A24, but he wanted too much money to make it. So that's when it went over to Focus and Universal, I think it was. Or it might just be Focus. But yeah, excited. I'm there for Nosferatu. Next story coming up, which is another trailer. So yeah, in the last week, we've had a new trailer for The Caped Crusader, which is coming out on Amazon, I believe. This is the new animated show. I think it is. It's not a feature film. This one's a show, and this one's coming from Bruce Timm, who is the original creator of Batman the Animated Series. So there's definitely cause to be excited for this one. I've just managed to check out the trailer myself. Paul, we'll go to you first for this one, mate. What are your thoughts and feelings on this new trailer?
Yeah, man. Like, I'll tee it up a bit with my thoughts on the original animated show. Like, I grew up on that. Was part and parcel with the '89 and Batman Returns. It made me the Batman fan I am today. Watched it over and over again. It's one of them shows I sort of know inside out to the most degree, especially the first couple of seasons. I remember it come out on Blu-ray, like a big collector's box set, which all Batman fans were clamoring for. watched it all again then. And I think it's recently just gone on Netflix, and I've caught a few episodes just, because they're quite short ones, just when I'm trying to kill some time. Love it. The idea of a brand new series from the same guy who created that, Bruce Timm, as well as being produced by Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams, just speaks to me, man. And the trailer's fantastic. It's sort of following that same sort of aesthetic as the original series, that sort of out of time Gotham City where you can't quite pinpoint what time period it's set in. It's sort of like a timeless sort of era, which I love. And I'm pretty sure I read last week that Bruce Timm come out and said, because it's not going to be on primetime TV, it's going to be on a streaming service, it gives them a lot more leeway to make it a bit more adult, which is sort of what they were going for with the original animated series. Yes, kids can watch it, but it was always designed as a show that kids and adults can enjoy. And I presume they're going to do that with this as well, but I feel like they'll have a bit more leeway to, because it's going to be one of them animated shows which they've done in the past where they've brought it back, and they know for a fact that the fans of that original series are now older, a la you and me, where, we grew up with that show, we were kids, we're now older, we still respect that show, but we want to see some more for us. And I think they're going to do that with this show. Looks fantastic. The character designs look awesome. They're like their own brand new iterations of characters. We see there the Scarecrow in there. It looks different. Harley Quinn looks different. I'm excited for it. And if they can do what they're saying, where they can make it feel a little bit more mature, take my money. I'll be there day one for that.
Yeah, and when we say mature, we're not talking about what like they did with the recent Kill and Joke adaptation. We're not like, you don't need to be getting Barbara and Bruce on the rooftops. No. But they have just released a new steelbook for that film, and it's absolutely awesome. I think I might have to get my hands on that. Bad film, but great steelbook. I think this looks awesome. It's never been something I've really asked for or even thought about if they could do again, because this is definitely like the spiritual sort of successor of the animated series. I've always found it strange why HBO Max never picked this up. I do find it strange that it's coming out on Prime. I think there's more to that story than meets the eye. DC have had a couple of things on Prime before. Recently, I think it was over the Christmas period, there was like a Batman Christmas sort of episode, weird thing. So yeah, my thoughts on the Batman Caped Crusader show. Looks amazing. I'd highly recommend it. Sorry, folks. Paul has had to go. It's been an emergency. We will move on. We will finish this pod. The next thing I wanted to speak about quickly was we had one more trailer that came out this week. And my God, is it a doozy? We have Hellboy. Oh, dear. Right. Hellboy has had a bit of a go at it. Obviously, in about 2004, 2005, we had the first Hellboy film with Ron Perlman. I really like that film. I think it really goes out there on the visual effects element and stuff like that. I think Ron Perlman is excellent in the role. Visually, just a really good time, that film. Same with the second Hellboy film that featured Ron Perlman. Years later, we get Neil Marshall into the fold, who directed the most recent Hellboy film that we had with David Harbour. I think that film had a lot of issues in the behind the scenes aspect to it, so it didn't really come out too well, and I think Neil Marshall is pretty much disowned that film. But fear not, we had a new trailer come out, and guys, I think we might let's just watch this trailer. You need to see it to believe it. First off, I've already seen this trailer, but I'm just going to say, guys, you know what sort of vibe this gives me? If you've seen the recent Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movies, it sort of looks like that. It's got that amateur sort of feel about it, especially with that first Winnie the Pooh movie. I'm not sure about this at all. I think this look, it looks okay, but it almost looks a bit cosplay to me. Let's have a look at this trailer. Let's have a look.
Heard tales about him all my life. Most just called him the Crooked Man.
The Crooked Man. Ooh.
We've got company.
All your friends, they all gonna die.
Right. I won't be totally shan, right? There's a positive here, right? It's not the look of the film, because it looks like garbage, but it does look like it's delving a bit further into the horror aspect of Hellboy. And I think that is something that maybe's been squandered a little bit in recent efforts, but this looks like it's definitely going for that horror vibe. Look, folks, I don't think this looks amazing at all. I'll always be here for more Hellboy films. Unfortunately, I'm a sucker for them. I even like the Neil Marshall one, David Harbour one, somewhat. I know it's not an amazing film, but, you know, big ghouly monsters, David Harbour running about with horns on his head. It was passable, you know. But anyway, folks, sorry to get to the end of the pod and be solo, but Paul had an emergency. Badger wasn't feeling too well. It's going to happen sometimes. But anyway, folks, thanks for watching the pod. We'll be back this weekend. We'll be doing a review for Maxine. Maybe you expect that Sunday night, maybe next Monday morning. But yeah, me and Paul will be doing a spoiler review for that as well. Anyway, folks, this has been the Total Movie Recall podcast.